don't ever hesitate to call 911. It's not an embarrassment. We don't look down on you guys. We encourage it. We would much rather prevent something from happening than getting the call afterwards and trying to investigate what happened. A lot of these scams and crimes that are taking place, yeah, we do make every effort possible to investigate them, but when you're talking about Nigerian, Canadian lottery scams, as much as I'd love to go to Nigeria and Canada to follow up on this stuff, City of Brentwood's not going to send me to do that, plus it's outside my jurisdiction. These crimes are very, very difficult to solve. And the people who commit these crimes are in internet cafes, and they're all sitting at various computers, and they're in one room, and there's 20 or 30 guys, and they're just hitting the internet, and they're trying to send out as many emails as they possibly can until they can latch on to someone. And we have no idea who these people are. So understand that if you send out money and you wire it, it's gone, and it's most likely never coming back. And there's very, very little that we can do about it. So the one thing we can do about it is get out here, talk about it, and prevent it. That's our greatest strength and our greatest tool. Some other things I want to talk about is one topic that always comes up. I do a lot of these meetings in Somerset. Do we have any Somerset residents here? Most of you. And then Trilogy. Gated communities, they're beautiful communities. My dad lives in Somerset. He's in Somerset number 1. Because you live in that gated community, don't get under the, don't fall in that comfort zone knowing, hey, my community is gated, which means I can now leave my car unlocked or my house unlocked because I have a security guard on my front gate. Yeah, that's great, and it's a huge benefit, it's a huge asset, and it's a deterrent. However, you know, a lot of times when I go to visit my dad in Somerset 1, I'll either go to the gate and ask for, you know, identify who I am and they'll let me in, or I'll just follow the car that's right in front of me that's accessing the gate with their clicker, and then I just follow them right behind them. That's what these burglars do. They just wait for that gate to open and they just follow it right behind. So, which is going to lead to my next point of what I want to talk about is burglaries. It's always a hot topic. It's things that are always brought up at these meetings, and yes, it's one of our bigger problems in the city of Brentwood. Burglaries are on the rise, residential burglaries primarily. What can we do to combat burglaries? Well, burglars don't break into homes at night, typically. As it happens, sure. But burglaries occur during the daytime. Because what they'll do is they don't want to break into a home with someone there because it's now a confrontation, it's a conflict, and they don't want that. All they want is your jewelry. They want your financial records. They want your identities. They want your electronics. And they want to get in and get out as fast as they can undetected. So the best thing you can do is what they'll do is they'll show up and they'll knock on your front door. And they'll wait and they'll see if anyone answers that door. And then if no one answers, then they'll peek in through a window. And if it looks like no one's home, then they're going to go around to the side yard where your side garage door is. Typically, it's left unlocked. I know my dad's always is, I always yell at him for it. But if it's not, they just boot that side garage door. There's no reinforcement behind that. It's just a single locking mechanism. It's real easy to break. And then it's on the side of the house. It's not visible from the street. And then the garage door that leads into the house is almost always left unlocked. And if not, they have the comfort and the security of being inside your garage, and they can pick and work on that lock and not worry about anyone else seeing it until they get in that house, and then they go in and take everything. But going back to my point, is they'll knock on that door. If you're home, you don't have to open the door, but you can talk through the door and go, no soliciting, thank you. Let them know you're there. I always have an argument with my wife about this because she's a stay-at-home mom. And she doesn't like answering the door because she feels vulnerable. She's got this fear that if she opens the door, someone's going to rush in and possibly assault her. And I go, yeah, that's a legitimate concern. I understand. I mean, I appreciate that. However, these guys aren't doing that. They want our assets. And if you don't answer the door and you don't let them know you're home, they're going to go in, and the next thing you know, your backside is going to be smashed. And now you're going to be in the house, and it's going to be even worse. So let them know on the other side of the door, peek through the window, no thank you, no soliciting, take a note of what they look like if you can, and then call us immediately. Call 911. I cannot stress that enough. How many of you have cell phones? Pretty much everybody, right? What happens if you dial 911 from your cell phone? Does it go to the Brentwood Police Department? No, it goes to CHP in Sacramento. So then you get on the phone with CHP in Sacramento and you explain to them who you are, where you're calling from, and you take down a little bit of information, and they go, well, let me put you on hold, and then they'll call the Brentwood Police Department. And they go, we got someone on 911 up in Sacramento, this is who they are, and this is what they're reporting. Okay, go ahead and transfer that call to us. Then we get the call, 911, how can we help you? So they take down your information again, find out where you're calling from. They want to know what's going on. By this time, 10 minutes has passed. So I'm going to give you a phone number right now. If you've got a pen and paper, write it down. This is the exact same number as 911, but if you call from your cell phone, pre-program this number in your cell phone, it'll go right to our dispatch center. It'll eliminate that 10-minute delay. Number is 925-778-2441. 925-778-2441. It's no different than calling 911. That's the number for Antioch dispatch. We dispatch through Antioch. We don't have our own dispatch center, but it's all the same.
Is that number replicable from the San?
Yes, yes. It's no different than if you were to dial 911. So other things you can do to deter burglaries, okay, and car thefts and auto burglaries especially, is at nighttime. That's when auto burglaries take place. Leave your porch lights on, get a motion light for your driveway. Criminals are opportunists. They're going to pick the easiest target. If all your porch lights and your driveway lights are shut off, it offers them concealment, darkness. They don't want to be breaking into a car with a light shining down on them. Motion lights are great because it's dark, they walk up to the driveway, and the light shines on. So for anyone else in the area, if you see a change of lighting, it's going to direct your attention to that location. So motion lights are a great deterrent. Always keep your doors locked. I know that's, kind of, it's already understood that needs to be done, but you'd be surprised living, my dad living in Somerset, and I see it firsthand. He leaves his front door unlocked, he leaves his car unlocked, he leaves his car keys in the car unlocked, but he goes, oh, I park it in the garage. It doesn't matter. You know what I do at home? I lock my car in my locked garage and I take all my valuables out of my car. That's how concerned I am. So I would expect you guys to do the same. I don't let my wife leave her purse in the car, in the garage, locked and secured. I make her bring it in the house. Every little thing you can do to help yourself to prevent this, the better. Also note that if you're at the grocery store, your car gets broken into, what kind of information is kept in your glove box? Your car registration, your insurance paperwork, and what else do you keep on your visor? Your garage door clicker. Someone breaks into your car, you're at the mall, they grab your garage door clicker, they grab your registration, they know right where you live, and they're going to go straight there and break into your home. So it's important that you report your auto burglaries as soon as you possibly can, especially take note if your garage clicker is missing, so we can send an officer out to your house right away to stop that from that burglary from occurring. One other thing I want to cover is, it's not so much internet scam, but unfortunately, as people get older, the more medical emergencies that you guys have, we respond to medical emergencies all the time. It's something we work with the fire department. How many of you are familiar with Vial for Life? Okay. Vial for Life is where you put all your personal information, such as your contact information, your kids, your medical charts, your blood type, anything that could be used to aid and assist us with your medical history, your blood work, and contact information for your closest relative or your next of kin. So that way, when you're having your medical emergency, you can't communicate with us to what's going on, and it'll save time. What the Vial for Life does is it's known by the police department and fire and paramedics. You keep a vial in your refrigerator with this information. So whenever we go to a medical emergency and we have no one else to contact, we can just open the fridge, and if it's there, we have all that information that we need for you, and it'll save a lot of time. We're gonna have a question and answer session after. And then the last thing I wanted to cover is how many of you have, when we talk about cell phones, what about smartphones? You know what smartphones are? Smartphones are cell phones, but have the capability of accessing the internet. It's like your iPhones, your Droids, things like that. It's typically a younger generation thing. But I'm going to tell you right now, my iPhone, if I ever lost that, anyone who found it would know everything about me. It's got all my passwords on there. It's got everything, because we live and die by our phones these days. It's an unfortunate thing, but it's just the way society has become. So if you have a cell phone that has that type of information on there, make sure it's password protected. A lot of people have these cell phones and they don't password protect them. All these smartphones come with password protection capability. Make sure you have a password set on there. And then, if you're not familiar with how to operate it and you lose it, contact, a son or daughter, maybe a little bit more tech savvy, and have them, you can remotely wipe these phones. So if you do lose them, your personal information isn't, going to be compromised. I have the ability to wipe my phone if I lost it, so I'm not too concerned about that. I also know that when people take pictures with their phones, any digital camera, any digital picture taken, if that picture is put on the internet, put on a social media website, there's a free, accessible computer program that I can download from the internet. I can take that picture, put it into that program, and it will give me the exact GPS coordinates of where that picture was at the time it was taken, and the date and time and the type of camera it was taken with. So when people decide to go to Hawaii, and then they take pictures on themselves in Hawaii, and then they put it on Facebook or MySpace or some of these other social media websites, or they text them to their friends, and then all of a sudden that picture falls in the wrong hands, and that person is able to pull the GPS coordinates, and they're going to know exactly where you are. They're going to realize, okay, they're on vacation, they're not home, we can go break into their house, or God forbid, use it for some other criminal type activity. So that's going to pretty much eat up my time, but we'll leave 15, 20 minutes to do some questions and answers, and thank you.